Hi, welcome today to Celebrity Customer Experience Riffs with me, Jill Raff, where we riff on anything and everything employee experience to customer experience, because I guarantee you 100%, you can take that to the bank, 100% that your employee experience will influence your end customer experience, whether good or bad. So it is so great to be with you. And I want to thank you for joining today, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching the replay. Thank you so much. I know that your time is valuable, and I think it's our most precious commodity, honestly, or not even a commodity. It's our most precious um, asset and value that we all have. So thank you for spending a few moments with me. And I hope that this will be valuable for you. I think so. Um, because what I'm going to present today is a concept that will apply to any business, regardless of your industry, regardless of whether you have established protocols, procedures, your values, all of those things in advance. It will help you look at either establishing them correctly from the first time or going back and looking at what you have already. Is it working? Where could it be improved? Where are the pitfalls? So these are all things that we're going to look at today. And I want to encourage you, please, to engage with me. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know you're watching. Later on, often I hear people tell me about, oh, they really resonated with something I said, or they really loved watching, and yet I didn't know they were there. So let me know you're there. Ask a question. I can put it on live, and you can engage with me directly in a conversation, which is always so much more fun. So today's topic is about the recipe for success. The recipe for success in any organization. So I know, let's start with just a brief overview. So when we talk about a recipe, right, there's a prescription in a way, right? A prescribed ingredients, the amount, how they should be prepared, how long they should be cooked for, all of those types of details. So, what I'm contending is that the same idea applies to business. And this is establishing your protocols, establishing the seasoning, the flavor, the spice, what makes it unique for you. And what are those key core ingredients, those main ones that no matter what else you add to it, must be there for things to work. Now, one of the things we've discovered is that there are often gaps, right? Like, so if you're working on something and you have something that's missing that's really crucial for the success of that outcome, then you're going to end up failing without having those really core things in place. And in order to do that, you need to know and understand where are the possibilities of things going wrong, which could be like gaps in your business. And a lot of that we find we've talked about in the past, like back in episode 73, for example, about the perception and delivery gap that's happening between leaders and their people. So my recipe is going to help with that particular problem. How to fill that gap, how to build a culture, what I call a connection culture, so that you're creating an environment, you're creating an outcome with that recipe of something that will ultimately be repeatable, scalable, predictable, consistent. These are all things that are really important. And the reason why recipes are used, because it allows for a repeatable result of what people can expect from it, right? We go, if we're cooking, we loved something, we want to have it again. If we follow a certain recipe, we're going to get pretty much the same outcome. Pretty much the same, I say, because as we all know, every chef that touches a recipe adds their own influence or touch, or um, it, how long you let something cook for before you add the next ingredient. For example, from my own culinary background, I can tell you makes a huge difference in the flavor, in the texture profile, all of those things. So um, what I'm proposing is to think about the three key ingredients, right? When we look at something for simplicity, we see these recipes that talk about, oh, with only three ingredients or only five ingredient recipe. And it's easy, it's simple, it's straightforward. So that's what I want to propose as the core, like the foundation, right? That stock almost when you're making a great sauce. A very important ingredient is the stock that you add to it, whether it's bold or whether it's clear or cloudy. I mean, it adds so much. That foundation, in fact, in French, it's called fond, um, is really, really important. And so my recipe entails what you've heard me mention before as my E3 formula. And these key ingredients will help you become the employer of choice without a doubt. It will solve problems of attraction, problems of retention that everyone is facing now. Okay, so what is it? The key three ingredients of the recipe for success starts with educate. And that means not just training your people, but truly educating them from the first conversation that you have with a recruiter of who you're looking for and what you want and who's going to be the right fit for your company, who's going to be aligned with your core values, with the culture that you want to create. Who will be aligned will be important and established by how you educate them about who you are, who you serve, what makes you unique, what makes you different, what is your flavor, what is your secret sauce. Now, of course, secret sauce is something that I love coming from a McDonald's background, but it truly needs to be your secret sauce. And these key three ingredients remain the same, but it's what you add into it that distinguishes you from others. So, what is it that you do? Who do you tell people? What do you tell people? And who about who you are, what you serve, what you do, what makes you, your business, your brand uniquely you? So that's where I suggest starting with looking at your core values, your vision, your mission, really establishing what that is. And certainly, all of us having gone through this pandemic over 2 years now, if you have not gone back and revisited what those values are, I suggest you start right now with that. Don't do anything else in improving your business and making changes or shifts until you have re examined that. Because, as we all have experienced, the market that we're serving today is not the market you were serving pre pandemic. If you're still thinking in 2019 terms and business is coming back, so let's just go back and we'll continue to do business the way we did in 2019, I guarantee you it is a huge mistake. And you will see your business in short order tank because customers are not the same. They don't want the same things. We have changed through the pandemic by natural evolution. This is what happens in life. The employees, the workforce has changed. They're hard to come by. They want different things. They're willing to work for something that means more to them, even more than the paycheck. So all these things, oh my gosh, I could do an entire um, episode just on any one of these things. So I don't want to go too deep, but really look at that. I really want to encourage you because that's going to be the most important thing. And then only later can you train your people on how to do the actual skills that you need to perform their jobs. But you first need to educate them and make sure they are aligned with exactly your culture, who you are, your values. And that's what I mean by educate. I think everyone deserves to know where they stand in the company, where they're a part, how they are a leader, regardless of their actual position in the so called ladder. And I prescribe and work with my clients on creating an educational manual. So everyone has their training manual. I can guarantee you there are very few who have an educational manual. So that's something that I help people do because I think that has to happen and it has to be first before you hand off your training manual to have the ultimate success that you want, to maintain the retention that you need to ultimately affect your bottom line. Okay, so that's the first ingredient. The second is engage. After you've educated them on who you are and you've gotten buy-in and you know they're aligned with who you are, now you need to go and engage with your people at every level. I mentioned before, I believe that we need to create leaders at every single level, regardless of their task and their skill, and their responsibility within your organization. Listen to your people. Ask them what is important to them. Ask them what's their experience with your customers. They're your front line. They are the most valuable, richest source of information for you to make changes, to know what to continue to do, and to know what to change and what else to do. Get the ideas of the masses, right? It's much better to have many minds versus one mind. And each one of us doesn't know everything. There's no way we could. I'll quote my favorite quote, which it's a Japanese writer, Satori. Um, uh, what's his name? Oh my gosh, um, I can't think of his name right now. But it goes: individually, we are one drop. Together, we are an ocean. Ryonosuke Satoru, that's his name. And I really believe that's important. And that's true in terms of gathering information and ideas and resources and brainstorming. Utilize your staff and their knowledge from working day to day on the job with their fellow employees, as well as those who interface directly with your customers. The richest source of information. Do not let that go by and miss out on that. And lastly, most importantly, at this point, you have now educated your people. You have engaged with them and heard from them and implemented their ideas. And now you need to entrust them. That means empower them along the way. And in the engagement period, you're already starting to empower them. And now they've proven themselves to you. Let them know you trust them. Give them freedom, give them independence, give them responsibilities to show you what they are capable of. And in doing so, you will find that they will take more pride in their work. They will commit to longer hours, even without pay. And I'm not suggesting that you don't pay for their time, you do. But what I'm saying is statistically, they have shown that people are willing to go all in, give more, and it's not about the money. It's about having ownership in their position and feeling a part of something bigger in their community and in the community of the work that they're in their family, in their work family. So when you empower people, not only that, all those great benefits, your customers, of course, feel it. But in addition, you as the executive team, as the leadership, as the general managers, as the owners, you now are going to free up hours of you having to micromanage, which no one wants to be micromanaged. That's another part of the trust. Do not micromanage. Let them know, I know you've got this. I believe in you. I trust you. And everyone will make a mistake. We all slip up and don't think that they're the only ones. Look in the mirror, right? We all mess up, and that's okay. We learn from that. And don't chastise or have retribution for someone who messes up. Instead, let it be a learning lesson. It's a huge opportunity to grow. So once we do this, it allows the management and the leadership to have extra hours gained back to devote to something that's more important in their work, or maybe even have more time free to spend with your family, to take on vacation, to exercise before or after work, to do something that's important and valuable that will benefit everyone that they manage and everyone that they lead. I hate the word manage, everyone that they lead, but the term is a manager, right? So I'd like to replace that with leader. So that's really it in a nutshell. So that's the recipe. It's educate your people, not just train them, engage with them, not tell them to do something and you sit by and watch, shoulder to shoulder, be there with them. Let them know that you're not asking them to do anything that you wouldn't do yourself. That alone, too, will gain a lot of trust and a lot of respect. And when people trust and respect you, you can get much farther in the relationship and it's much more productive. And then everyone's happier. And third, in trust, to really empower your people by letting them show you that they independently can perform and hold responsibility and create outcomes that you want on their own. So within that, you let other pieces come in and be the seasoning, the spices, all those other little things that will make this recipe yours, uniquely yours. Only those core things must be there, but then you add in what makes your company stand out from all the others. Why does someone come to you? So these are a lot of questions and hopefully a lot of information as well. Something just to get you thinking about. I'd love to hear your thoughts. That has um, been generated from thinking about these ideas by answering some of these questions in your mind. If you want to have a conversation around it and how we can dive deeper into your company, how to establish this recipe, how to clean up, maybe take the recipe that you have already and how to clean it up and make it more beneficial, make it more productive, more efficient. Work with the agility in your team, a really important thing right now. Then let's have a conversation. And I'm going to put up here my contact information. Reach out to me directly. It's Jill at jillraff.com. Check out my website, jillraff.com as well. Raff, like Frank, is my last name. And I look forward to speaking with you again soon. I thank you for joining. And, as always, make more connections, have great experiences. And I wish you nothing but success in all that you do and your successful recipes and the dishes that you create in your office, in your organization, regardless of the industry. Thanks for joining today.